Hey guys, Cookie here. So the new player polls have finished and we have a new major order. I also wanted to go over a couple of stories from the past week that I haven't gotten to comment on, so welcome in to another Helldivers 2 update. First off, let's talk about the major order, and I'll begin with the major order we completed. The dispatch on it says that the Helldivers have successfully achieved a significant reduction in termitid population levels, proving the efficacy of targeting termitid nurseries directly. Many once-infested planets are now ready for our citizens to settle. This is the first step towards termitid containment and the long-lasting prosperity it will bring our citizens. My thoughts about this major order is that they wanted to put some space between the termitids and the black hole that used to be Meridia, so that the Illuminate might have some space to work with if they should come out of that black hole. However, there are currently two planets the Terminids are attacking in Pandion 24 and Urson Sands. Both of these planets are looking like they will be taken over by the Terminids as well, with under 4 hours left to defend them as of this recording. So I would doubt that we're going to see anything out of the Meridia Black Hole event, at least for now. After successfully pushing back the Terminids, we are currently in danger of losing ground against the Automatons, which is the nature of the newest major order. The dispatch says that the Automatons have been making incursions into the Tsar sector in an effort to re-steal the sites of their introductory crimes. Consult the galactic map on your ship for more information. The major order itself reads that the automatons are attempting to reclaim the territory held by their initial vanguard. They must be stopped. Designated planets must be under Super Earth control when order expires. And you see the 5 planets there: Mort, Ingmar, Poply 9, Mantes, and Dropnir. We have 4 days to complete this and will be rewarded 45 medals if we do. Helldivers will also be equipped with the AC-8 autocannon, as it will be free and available for all Helldivers temporarily. So with the automatons trying to break into their original territory when the game was released, some Redditors have brought up that that means that the beloved Malevelon Creek could be in danger. When you consult the galactic map, you can see that if the automatons successfully take the Tsar sector, they will have access to the creek for a potential attack, which we know would probably be imminent. I think this will help us have a successful major order and hopefully repel the bots back before they go too far. The Discord polls about the most recent Warbond and patch show some good vibes among the player base. The first poll asked what Helldivers thought of the most recent Viper Commandos Warbond. The top vote getter was that Helldivers thought it was okay, with 45% of the vote. Next up in the voting was saying it was great, with 30% of the vote. 18% said they didn't get it, and only 6% said they didn't like it at all. This compares favorably when looking at the previous Warbond, Polar Patriots, where 42% of Helldivers didn't like it, as opposed to just 6% this time around. Plus, only 4% of divers said that they thought the last Warbond was great, and 30% said this one was. So that is a pretty dramatic recovery from the previous month's Warbond, which is great to see. The other poll shows even better news, because they asked what do players think of patch 1.000.400 that was released over a week ago, and over 50% of divers said they thought it was great, and 33% said they thought it was good. That means 85% of the community approves of the most recent patch. That's a pretty massive improvement from previous patches where the response seemed mostly negative. Only 3% of the community didn't like the patch at all. There is still one more poll, which as of yet isn't closed. This poll asks which armor perk is your favorite. There's still 6 days to vote on that, so if you want your voice heard, log into the Helldivers 2 Discord and cast your vote. So like I said, there's a lot of good vibes going on currently in this game. However, there is also a concern: player numbers. There was hope that the most recent mega patch and the Warbond that came with it would reinvigorate the player base and increase player numbers overall, and that did kind of happen. Since the player base nearly doubled on that Thursday from around 50,000 players at one time to around 90,000. However, after about a week, it went back down to around 50,000, a far cry from the regular 100,000 players that were playing just before the Sony debacle. This is to be expected, with all the countries that still can't play the game, as well as the game just simply getting older, as players have been diminishing since back in April at a pretty steady rate. Like I said earlier, there's a lot of good feelings with the player base that is currently playing. It's just unfortunate that that player base continues to diminish. Hopefully things like the eventual Illuminate arrival may bring more players into the fold, and stuff like the most recent patch may keep it from losing concurrent players moving forward. So with all the craziness going on behind the scenes here at Swanee Plays Games, I haven't had a chance to comment on some stuff that was going on this past week. First off, just a few days ago, we got our chance to see the new Biome in Helldivers 2, and as you can see from the background gameplay, I got a chance to try it out. If you didn't know, the Gekrux system, which just became an option option a few days ago in the Jinchi sector, is the first planet that features a new swampy jungle biome to go along with the recent jungle-themed Warbond. I personally really enjoyed this. There are a decent variety of biomes in this game, but it's impressive how just adding one new biome can make the game seem so much more fresh and exciting. It's well designed with a variety of different structures, and I suffered no problem with game performance. So that's all really cool, and if you haven't yet, definitely head to Crux and see what you think. The reports of crashes is nothing new in Helldivers 2 following a patch, but there has been new crash problems following the patch of the patch earlier this week. Currently, there is issues once again with the FAF-14 spear, except this time it's causing crash issues. One of the community managers, Twinbeard, referenced this issue a few days ago, saying, "Good morning, soldier," when someone was asking him about the spear crashing. Says, "Yeah, there are crashes affiliated with the spear at the moment. We're looking into it. Thanks for head-upping." And a day after that response, Twinbeard got a question asking him when they can expect a fix for the spear crashes, and they asked if it would be later this week, and he said this week as in Friday to Sunday. No. Next week, much more plausible, maybe even likely. So we may need to be looking out for a new patch that should fix the spear crashes and some other issues like the ballistic shield problems that are currently in the game. That kind of a patch may come out later this week. So it may not be in your best interest to use the spear at the moment, which is a real shame because it just became useful for the first time. But anyway, use the stratagem at your own risk. And lastly, I want to discuss the new cape, or the cape that hasn't become new yet. The much sought after and talked about review bomb cape still is yet to be released, even though it's been a month and a half since it was shown to be being worked on. A recent news story brought up how the former CEO and current CCO, Johan Pilstedt, said just a week ago that the cape is finished on their end and they are simply waiting for the right time to release it. I find this really concerning and sad, because another week since that statement and still no sign of getting the cape. Some Redditors have said that this is because they don't want to release the cape until the 180 countries that are blocked from playing Helldivers 2 are able to play it again. If that's the case, it may never be released, because I see little hope that Sony will ever take off that restriction, considering in 6 weeks there has been no movement on that front. The other scenario is even more sad, where Sony is simply blocking the release of this cape since it would look bad on them. I think this is more likely, although it does offer some hope that Pilstedt isn't outright ignoring questions about the cape and did post about the cape just a few weeks ago. So it's kind of hard to tell what the quote-unquote right time would be, but I do hope it gets released, because it would be one hell of a statement against the establishment and represent an epic moment in Helldivers history. We'll just have to wait and see. Alright guys, that does it for today's update. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch. If you found this update useful to you, please smash that like button for us. It means a lot, and comment what you think on any of today's subjects in the comments down below. We'd love to hear from you. And if you're new here and want to stay up to date on Helldivers 2, among other games, hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications so you never miss a video, and we will talk to you next time. Bye-bye for now.